There are only 2 months left of 2020, which is crazy, and today I'm showing you our November 2020 budget. Hey guys, I'm Marissa and welcome back to my channel. Here on my channel we talk about life and budgeting and how you can enjoy life while still accomplishing financial goals. So if that sounds like something that's interesting to you, then definitely subscribe so you won't miss any new videos. Today I'm sharing with you our budget for November of 2020. Yes, this is our actual household budget with actual numbers. I live in Portland, Oregon with my husband and my son Peter, who is 5 months old. And so we are a family of 3, and here is how we plan to operate our finances this month. Also, before we get into it, I want to let you know the budget template that I'm using today is actually one that you can get yourself on my shop. I will have a link to it down in the description box so you can download it if you're interested. Okay, so the first section here in our budget is the income. I have Jacob's income, my income, and my business income all blocked out for privacy. So my husband Jacob, he works full-time. I work for an employer at a measly 5 hours a week, so very minimal. And then I also have my business here on YouTube, so that's mostly what I do. And the work that I do for my employer, I worked there full-time before I had a baby, and then since going on maternity leave and coming back, I don't really work there very much anymore. It's more I just do like a couple tasks for them, and so I do work like 5 hours a week. So I do have all that income though blocked out, like I said, just for privacy. But our total household income this month is $6,700. Now I also want to tell you that this income is what we receive after taxes, after insurance, after paying for contributing to our 401ks and everything like that as well, which we have recently increase the amount that we are putting to our 401ks. So when you're looking at our expenses, the percentages may seem a little high. That's because this money is like our more than take-home pay. Like this is take-home pay after all of these additional costs that we wouldn't necessarily need to pay for, like saving for retirement. With that being said, $6,700 is what we have to work with for the rest of our household income. So now to show you all of our expenses. So we have a zero-based budget, which means all of our income equals all of our expenses and our money out, which includes expenses, like I said, and then also things that we're saving for. So first we have is the expense section. The first expense that we have here is our tithe. We are Christians and we believe in giving to our church and other organizations. So here we have 10% going to our tithe, which is to our local church at $670. Next is African New Life. We support 2 children in Rwanda with African New Life, and so that is $78 a month. Then we support another missions organization, and I have it here as 30, but we actually do 40 a month, so updating this in real time for you. And then we have our mortgage payment. Our mortgage is $2398.60, and this includes principal, interest, taxes, insurance, PMI, and I think that's it. So all of these things into one payment for our mortgage. I actually am expecting this to go up maybe a little bit because we are just about to pay property taxes, and I'm not sure what that cost will be. So I'm sure that our payment will go up a little bit more because taxes always go up. So we'll see what that payment looks like. So next we have is our HOA, and so we do live in a neighborhood with a homeowners association, and so we have to pay $121.46 each month for that. Next we have is water and sewer, and that is usually around like $95 a month, so $93.85 is what I have set for this month. Then we have natural gas. This is what we use to heat our home with and also for cooking. So this should be maybe around like $40. And this is what we use in the month of October. We'll pay for November. October here in Oregon is pretty mild. So we have turned on the heat like a couple times, but it's pretty mild. So I don't think that we're going to have a big cost for that. Next we have is trash. And this is actually an expense that we pay every other month. So this month is not a trash month. Then we have our electric bill, and since our heat is with natural gas, electric is just leaving lights on and anything that we have plugged in. So that should also be around $40. We do have central air conditioning in our home, but again, we're going to be paying for October's usage in November, and October we did not have to use any sort of air conditioning. So it should be also around $40. Next we have is internet, and that is at a standard $49.95 each month. Then we have phones. This is for my cell phone and my husband's cell phone, and that is at $117.33 each month. Then we have insurance. This is for our cars. We have two cars that are both 2013. We have a Corolla and a RAV4, and that should be around $128. We also did have this reduced recently because of the pandemic. We haven't been driving like at all, so we changed the mileage for our cars, and that actually saved us some money on our car insurance, which is awesome. Next we have is life insurance. We do have a policy on myself and my husband, and together that is $52.89 each month. Next we have is groceries at $300 each month, and that is pretty standard. And then eating out, we allow ourselves $100 each month for eating out, and we haven't been to a restaurant, like inside a restaurant, since the first week of March, and we aren't planning to like actually go sit down, eat out somewhere, but even just getting takeout or something like that, that constitutes eating out budget. Next we have is gas, and like I said, because we haven't been driving at all, my husband has been working from home since March, so we do very little driving. We are planning to spend $40 a month on gas. Next we have is college. We are putting $200 away into my son's 529 college savings plan, and we have this on automatic deposit, so it'll just get taken out of our account and put to his 529. So I have this in the expenses section of our budget rather than the savings, because this isn't something that I'm tracking. Even though it's going to savings, like it's not going into my savings account like with my bank, like it's going somewhere else. So it gets taken out of my account and goes somewhere else. So I'm just watching for that payment to get taken. So $200 going to Peter's college savings. Then we also have $50 going towards an additional savings account for Peter. I recently did a video talking about this, of the ways that we are planning to save for Peter's future now, which I'll leave a link to that up above. But our hope is that we would be able to help him. And when I say help, I mean he's going to work towards it and we're going to help with getting his first car, helping with like a wedding, and also helping with like covering closing costs for a future home purchase for him. And so we've decided to put $50 a month away starting now until, you know, we reach these milestones in his life, and hopefully we'll be able to bless him and give in those ways for him. So we have $50 a month going into a brokerage investment account where we are saving for these things for Peter. And next we have is another financial goal that we are working on, and that is putting everything else that we find from our budget is going to making an extra principal payment on our mortgage. So this month we are putting $639.34 to an extra principal payment. I recently did a video talking about why we are now starting to pay off our mortgage early, so I'll leave a link to that video up above as well. And then lastly, we have miscellaneous. You always need to have a miscellaneous category in the budget because there's always something random that comes up. So definitely give yourself something there. We put $100. So now moving into the savings section of the budget. The first line item that we have is the emergency fund, and we do have a fully funded emergency fund of about 7 months of necessary expenses. Next we have is Jacob's personal spending. So this is actually different than what we've done in previous months. It used to be that we each got $100 of personal spending, but Jacob very kindly asked if he could increase his budget. I think just because of pandemic and everything, and also it's so nice that now that we have a house, Jacob does projects in the garage, and just being able to enjoy some part of life in the midst of the pandemic. He would really like some additional money so he could do some more projects. So I increased his to $150, and then I actually decreased mine to $75 because I haven't really been using my personal spending at all. So we each get that much money, and then I like keeping it in the savings section because then we can decide to either spend it that month or roll it over to the next month. So that's what we have set aside to go into these funds. Also, I will say, I get this question every single video, the total of our sinking funds is in one account. So I don't have like 8 different, savings accounts, one for Jacob, one for me, one for vacation. They're all lumped in, like the total is in one account, and then I use my budget spreadsheet so that I know how much is in each fund, but they're all of the money is just sitting in one bank account, if that makes sense. Next we have is extra giving. We put $50 a month into an extra giving fund, and this allows us to say yes to additional giving opportunities if they come up, and we love having this allocated in our budget. Next we have is our vacation fund. We put $400 a month into vacation. We are really hoping to go to Hawaii next summer, so we are saving up for that. And if we don't get to go next summer, then we're gonna keep saving, and we'll be able to take a real nice vacation when all of this pandemic stuff is over. Okay, next we have is Christmas. So we used to save $50 a month for Christmas starting in January, but we recently increased this to be $150 just to finish off our Christmas savings. But it's great to be able to save for Christmas starting now. Even if you haven't started, you can start in November, but we started it in January, and that way we have been saving money every month. And when we get to December, which is next month, I can't believe Christmas is like next month. When we get to Christmas, we therefore will have all of the money saved up and ready to go, ready to be spent on Christmas gifts. And let's be honest, we're not just buying Christmas gifts in December, we're buying them in November. I even bought some in October. So it's been nice having money set aside in that fund. Next we have is car maintenance. We put $75 a month into car maintenance to cover any sort of car repair if necessary, and we save it up every month so that, you know, if something big needs to be done on our cars, we have some money set aside. Next we have is house maintenance, and same sort of thing, $350 into our house maintenance fund, and this will cover any sort of repair that we need to make on our house. Sometimes there's really small things here and there, but we are really just saving up the majority of that to be able to cover a big expensive we need. Like, I think of, like, what if the hot water heater goes out? Like, what if something's going to cost a couple $1,000s? Well, then we're saving for it every single month. So we have decided to save 1% of our house value over the entire year. So you take that 1% of your house value and divide it by 12, and so that would be $350 for us. And that's not what everyone should do. I'm just saying that's what we've decided to do. So the next line item that we have is household, and this is random household supplies like toilet paper, paper towels, soap, detergent, those sorts of things. So we have that at $100, and we also have this in a fund. That way we can pull from it every month if we need, but it could also roll over and we could use it for something bigger if we need to. And then we have $100 going to our baby fund. So Peter, he does have expenses every month like clothing, toys, food, you know, those sorts of things. So we do have $100 a month going into the baby fund. And the reason why I keep this as a savings line item instead of just a general expense each month is because we're putting a little bit more into it than what we would need to cover every month. And that way we can have money building up so that if we wanted to get him something bigger or we needed something bigger for him, then we'd have extra money in this fund to be able to get it. So we spend maybe around like $50 a month, $50 to $60 a month on things for him. But this way we can save a little bit more as time goes on. So we are planning to save $1,450 each month into savings, and these are all of our sinking fund goals. So we do have a change that we have to make on our budget, and this is what I love about my template here. Down here at the bottom it says the difference should be $0, but as you can see I'm $10 off, so I need to pull $10 out of my expenses. I have this number here that shows total out, and it compares to our total income. So as you can see, we had $6,700 for income, and I have $6,710 in expenses. So the number that I'm putting everything else to, it has been our extra mortgage payment. So I'm just going to adjust that down $10, and then our difference here is $0. So our budget is now balanced. We have our zero-based budget ready to go for the month of November. I can't believe it's November. So leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you're excited for November. And also don't forget, if you want to get this budget template, you can check it out with the link in the description box down below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I will look forward to seeing you guys in my next video. Bye guys.